Good morning, and welcome to another First Five. And I have this question for you. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation being confused or having a disagreement because both parties define a word a different way? Or maybe there's a couple different meanings for the same word. Today we find ourselves in Acts chapter 18, where Paul is doing ministry and he's finding himself frustrated with the people he's doing ministry with and decides, I'm going to go to different people. And that's where we pick up our story. There in Acts 18, verse 9, it says this: One night the Lord spoke to Paul. This is after he's decided to go to another group of people. So it says, one night the Lord spoke to Paul in a vision. Do not be afraid. Keep on speaking. Do not be silent. For I am with you, and no one is going to attack and harm you, because I have many people in this city. So Paul stayed for 1.5 years, teaching them the word of God. While Gallio was proconsul of Achaia, the Jews made a united attack on Paul and brought him into court. This man, they charged, is persuading the people to worship God in ways contrary to the law. Just as Paul was about to speak, Gallio said to the Jews, if you Jews were making a complaint about some misdemeanor or serious crime, it would be reasonable for me to listen to you. But since it involves questions about words and names and your own law, settle the matter yourselves. I will not be a judge of such things. So he had them ejected from the court. I find it interesting because there was confusion here. And there was confusion over a word, over responsibility, over a specific concept. And the concept was the law. And I think we do the same confusing thing, where we ask the wrong authority to enforce the wrong law. Those of us who are Christians fall under two laws in life. Or I should say that more specifically. Those of us who are Christians and also live in an organized nation fall under two sets of laws. The first being the law of God, or the words of Jesus. It's the way we're expected to live based upon God's call on our lives. And the second is the law of our nation. There are certain things that we do because it is legal or illegal because of where we live geographically. Now, these are two different concepts, and often we get them mixed up. And this is exactly what the Jews did to Paul. They said, Paul, we're going to take you to a legal leader, to a national leader, because you're breaking our law. And we often make this mistake in our time as well. And it looks like how we look at our politicians. And we want our politicians to enforce the law of God, or we think that we can get our religious agenda done through political avenues. And here's my challenge today. Is I challenge you and I challenge me to stop crossing these paths. There are certain political agendas that can be accomplished by political leaders. But when you're having a struggle of enforcement of a religious law, or the words of Jesus, enforcing what he calls us to, my challenge to you is don't go to a political leader. Don't look to politicians to enforce those things, because odds are you will get a response like Gallio, I can't say his name today, Gallio said to them, this is not a matter of my law, but your law, and so I won't have anything to do with it. But instead, go to God. Go to Jesus. And I would put money on the fact that if you go to God about his law, he may challenge you to do something about it, but change will come. So my challenge to you today, go to the right leaders with the right law. Go to God when it's matters of God, and go to political leaders when it's a political matter. Let's try not to get these paths crossed so that we can actually see change through the people who can bring change. Have a great day, and we'll see you again for another First Five.